everybody to In the Back Pocket for the first time in 2026. Matt Nevitt is my name. Looking forward to leading a star-studded panel where there's been a little bit of change over the off-season, and we'll take a look at some of the big futures markets for season 2026. A mainstay of In the Back Pocket is two-time All-Australian Nathan Brown. The voice and the brains behind Champion Data is Daniel Hoyney, and a man who nearly kicked 300 AFL goals is Josh Jenkins. JJ, it's a very good hello to you.
Yes.
Looking forward to a big 2026.
Yes, I went for this job about 8 years ago. I missed out. 8 years later, I'm here. So I'm glad to be here and looking forward to finding some winners because that's what it's all about. We love the footy.
Too, by the way.
Sensational.
Brilliant
We've
start.
found our house. The old host, no, not so much. This is our man.
Be better for the run. Be better for
Finding some winners because that's what the show's all about.
Absolutely. What do you reckon this year, Browny, 2026? Do you feel like it'll be a bit of a changing of the guard at the top end, or do you think it'll be much the same with the big guns firing again?
Big guns firing again, but I think that Sydney are going to bounce back really hard this year. I might be on my own there. I thought they'd win the Premiership last year, so I'm keen on Sydney. I think Geelong will be up there again, although I'm not sure about their over-underline. We'll get into that a little bit, but the big boys will be up there again.
Hoyney, great to see you. What do you think? Do you think there'll be a bit of movement, or do the numbers say that it's more likely than ever that it'll stay the same?
Hard to see much movement from anyone outside of the top 10 of last year. The Dogs and Sydney, for me, are big challenges this year in the finals campaign. But outside of that, and St Kilda included, it's hard to see any of those bottom 8 teams making significant impact on the competition.
We say that a lot of years, it feels like. But what is it, 3 teams on average, 3 swaps, 3 out, 3 in on average? Something like that?
Yeah, and more often than not, someone from outside of the finals the previous year makes the top 4. So for us, I think, looking at Sydney and the Western Bulldogs, they probably fit that criteria. Outside of that, hard to find anyone else.
All right, well, let's crack in. It's our job to try and find the edge in the markets. So hopefully we can make some money with some futures multis, which a lot of people like to take at this time of the year, Brownie. So hit us with what your big predictions are for 2026.
And these are bespoke on the Sportsbet app, so you won't find them anywhere else, these ones. So I'm going to start off with Noah Anderson being an All-Australian. Thought he had a fantastic year last year, All-Australian last year. Think he backs it up again. We expect Gold Coast to be better again, so I'm locking Noah Anderson in. And you spoke about the Bulldogs. Ed Richards has got better and better every year he's played. Press red for Ed. You've got Liberatore, Bontempelli giving it to him. I just think he goes to another level. And the Tigers. They won enough games last year to surprise us. Their over-underline at the moment is 4.5, and I think they go over that this year.
They're doing a lot right, Richmond. Towards the back end of last year, 2026 footy is going to be all about how you actually move the ball. And under Adam Uze last year, the last 2 months of the season, they were a top 6 ball movement team in the competition. So if you're looking about what Richmond are actually doing and how they've drafted for the modern game. So potentially that over 4.5 wins might suit them this year.
I like that. Music to my ears. I'm going to tail Brownie. I think that in terms of all the over-unders, now it's easy to go for a team who's got a low total because you don't have to win many games, but they cleared that total last year. Their veterans were fantastic. Their young players are up and about as well. They've got another 12 months under the belt. The Taj Houghton news is a setback because he looked like he was going to elevate them even more, but I love them for over their win total. And I guess according to that, because there aren't too many other options to finish down the bottom, I just can't see West Coast getting off the bottom. I can't see it. Now, hopefully they win more than the one game they won last year, but I can only see 2 or 3. I don't know there's much improvement for West Coast.
Yeah, totally agree with you there, JJ.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. And I feel like what you're saying is that the existing group, the young kids there at Richmond, just seem to have a little bit more upside than that at West Coast. Even the likes of Gibcus getting a full pre-season into him is going to help the Tigers.
Keep him on the park's key. Yeah. And they've got 12 months. They went to the draft harder than West Coast. West Coast have sort of dabbled around the edges of the draft, and do we bring in a Tim Kelly? Richmond said, nah, out with the old, in with the new, and they've gone straight to the draft.
They've got genuine speed to the Tigers.
Yeah, they're exciting,
speed,
really exciting.
Let's take a look at some of the changes to the West Coast list over the off-season. They've lost a lot of experience here. So Oscar Allen, obviously that's a lot of leadership that goes out the door as well. Chesser, Ryan goes to St Kilda. Jaden Hunt, McGovern and Dom Sheed all finish up. So they lose a lot of experience. Not to say that they were superstars, but you look at the ins,
about 750 games out and only 100, all Starsevic's games come in. So, look,
I'll argue, though, that a lot of those senior players going out haven't played a lot of footy. Haven't played a lot of footy over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yep, don't disagree with that
at all. A lot of pressure on Harley Reid to really put them on his back. I know he's shown glimpses, but it's got to be his season to make.
Now, Matt, you're a part of the 99% of the community, I think, Brownie, that are going to put the slows on Collingwood for this season. Is that right?
No, I'm backing them.
You're in the 1%.
I'm in the 1%. Yeah, I don't understand why everyone's writing them off so quickly. I feel like it's a bit overblown what they've lost over the off-season. I think forward of centre's probably hurt a little bit. Mycheck's big for their structure, and Bobby Hill, we don't know when he's going to return, if at all. But they've still got a really strong list, a good top 10. They've still got the best player in the competition, and they're extremely well coached. So I think top 6 is a good play for the Pies. Obviously, you can't bet top 8 anymore with the changes there. So I think top 6 adds some value. Riley Thilthorpe went to another level last year. His body's now under control. He's got his fitness there, and he kicked 60 goals last year. So I think 55 is a safe bet as long as he stays on the park. And I'm big on the Cats not getting their 15.5. So it's a high line, and they were pumped in the grand final. You look at sides over the last few years, last 10 or so years that have been well beaten in grand finals, and it doesn't bode well for them, Hoyney.
Yeah, well, you go back over 30 years, and any team that's lost a grand final by over 40 points hasn't won a final the year after. So if there is going to be a team to buck that trend, potentially it is Geelong, but that runs all the way back to 1995. So over 40 points, losing a grand final, no one's been able to win a final the following season. And what they did last year, we spoke about a lot on this show, Browny. They had to win it last year, I felt, with that profile, and they came up against an unbelievable team who had to put in one of the great grand final performances to beat them, and they did. But that profile there, that is going to be hard to back up again in 2026.
Yeah, I think they play finals again, but I'm with you. 15.5 wins, that's a lot. I think anywhere 12 to 14, but I don't think they get the 16 wins to get that bet up, so I'm happy to go with the unders 2 on Geelong.
And last year was a bit of an anomaly where 7 teams won 16 games or more. I'd be surprised if something like that happens once again. I mentioned Riley Thilthorpe kicking 55 plus goals. I think that's a good way to play it. In terms of Coleman betting, Browny, you're pretty keen on.
Well, there's a lot up there. So you've got obviously Charlie Curnow up there to have a look at. You've got Sam Darcy, but I watched the game on the weekend, and yes, it's a scratch match, we know that, but you still have to go out there and do what he did. He went into the midfield, he played a fair bit of time midfield, still able to kick 5 goals. He is a beast. Yeah. He's come back fitter, he's come back bigger, and the big thing with Riley Thilthorpe is he doesn't miss when he gets his opportunity. He's a beautiful kick at goal. Darcy's a great kick, Curnow's a great kick, but I don't think they're as deadly in front of the sticks as what this guy does, and I just think he's going to have so much ball go through him. Yes, you've got Fogarty, yes, you've got Tex Walker, but left foot, right foot, he is a gun.
Yeah, he's an absolute star. I don't think there's that much between him and Darcy. I know here in Melbourne we are in love with Sam Darcy, and for good reason. Take some time to watch this guy, what he can do, the agility, the dexterity. I mean, some of those goals are quite incredible. He's already been 18 into 13, so probably on the back of that bag of goals he got in the pre-season. He's just such a difficult prospect for opponents. I just don't want to see him in the ruck that much, because that's if he spends 15% of the time in the ruck, that's 15% less time inside 50. So
and the other big thing that's going to affect his chances in the Coleman is how much footy Tex plays as well. You'd assume that it's going to be a little bit less.
It's got to be a Thilthorpe takeover. We'll get the numbers on the targets inside 50, Hoyney, but last year it felt like a bit of an equal opportunity forward line. If it's Fogarty's moment, if it's Tex's game, then they'll take turns. It's got to be Riley's forward line now.
You talk about the Sam Darcy and Riley Thilthorpe comparison. Second best player in the comp last year, Sam Darcy. 5th best player in the comp, Riley Thilthorpe. They are absolutely identical, and I think if you're putting the opposition coach's hat on, you don't want the footy going through Riley Thilthorpe if you can help it. So, it'll be interesting to track.
Did you have a chat with Tex to just say, is JJ's forward line at this point?
I had a couple of tries at it, not overly successful, Nathan.
When we opened up the WhatsApp group for this new show, JJ very quick to get his form from last year in.
Wasn't he?
Dominated on the feed. He didn't miss an opportunity.
Have a look at that. Good reason why. Only 41 copies, so bad luck to the rest of the world that didn't copy. Wow. Will Ashcroft, there you go. Got involved with the All-Australian stuff nice and early as well. So they are great markets to get involved with before the season.
I think I may have.
Thanks for the support.
Grand final.
Still going.
Don't undersell yourself.
JJ Appreciation Week.
I think I might have found Cozzy at $18, but they must have left that one out.
You've got to send them in yourself. That's the problem.
Well, there you go. It's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to previewing the Coleman, the Brownlow, the Premiership odds on the other side of the break. This is In the Back Pocket. Welcome back to In the Back Pocket. This is our futures show looking at the big markets from the pre-season lens in 2026. And the biggest market of all is the Premiership betting. So let's take a look at the sides at the top of the market. And I'm just going to say it straight off the top. I think Brisbane are way too short. I think they're there's a real opportunity to bet around them right now. JJ, who's your tip right now?
Don't disagree. I still think they're the best team in it, and they might be only halfway through their run with the age of their list. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they started slow, Brownie, and you might see 750. I think the market's going to keep them pretty safe, knowing how good they are. I think the market's pretty well set there. If you like a Freo or an Adelaide who did finish on top last year, there might be some opportunities, Nate.
I'm going to have a look at two, and I backed Sydney last year. They were really disappointing. They had a lot of injuries, but I do like Sydney at the $10, and the market's found them well here as well for what they did last year. But when you got Warner, when you got Hoyney, when you got Goulden coming back, you throw in Charlie Curnow. Yes, I'm concerned about their back six and being able to stop the goals, but the other one I do like is the Western Bulldogs. If they can get their back six right, not so much their back six, I think their back six can hold up. I'm worried about can their midfield defend to protect the back six.
Yes.
Listen to Bontempelli. He says that they've tinkered with defensive aspects of their midfield. They need to do that because they were just routed through the middle time and time again. But at the $15 for the Western Bulldogs, they've got a great list.
I might be the latest person to the Gold Coast party, but they are way too short. Way too short. I think we're looking straight away. We're going to look at the addition of Petrarca and Jamari Ugle-Hagan. Who knows what that might do. The reality is for Gold Coast, they have lost 5 players from their finals team last year.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of depth that you've actually got to find underneath. And their profile towards the back end of last year, it was Rowell and Anderson based. Rowell's not there for the first couple of weeks of the season. I think they might be good, but I'm holding on Gold Coast more than what most.
Yeah, I like the way that you're thinking. I think they've got a great chance, but at the same time, I think they're rock bottom odds right now. I think this is a market where you can play in multiple times through the season, try and find the overs a couple of times, and hopefully heading into grand final weekend with some good results.
Yeah,
I think the Dockers could be one if you back them now.
Yeah,
JJ.
and it's one you want to show faith when the teams are arguably playing their worst, because that's when you get the best price. Fremantle are a team, now I think Hoyney and I are going to butt heads here, and I'm looking forward to it for the first time. Fremantle started zipping 2, and there are a lot of questions, and I think some of it's real, and Hoyney's going to touch on their issues with their ball use and their ball movement. Some of it's not real, and ultimately I think you are what your record says you are. They finished 16-5, which is rock solid. I thought they were the best performed team in the competition on the road. And I reckon we saw a bit of a shift from the coach in the last week. They had to win that game against the Dogs. And he got a bit aggro, he got a bit angry, and he put the onus... He did, and he put the onus on the opposition. I think this year might be their year, Hoyney.
Talent-wise, there's no issues from a talent perspective. But the reality was that they went 12-2, like you said, JJ, towards the end of last year. And offensively, if you cannot challenge the opposition with what you do ball in hand, forget about it. That is what they delivered despite winning 12 of 14 games. That's not getting the job done, and we saw it not get the job done first final. So for me, their best player is Hayden Young. He would have been the most managed player at Fremantle this off-season. They cannot have success this year if he only plays 9 games like he did last year. If he can get back to playing 20-plus games, expect that offensive profile to change, and if that changes, then they can challenge the best. But if we're talking about that halfway through the year again with Fremantle, put a line through them.
All right, well, I hope, a bit like you, JJ, that those numbers do change because they've got the talent there on their list to turn around. Hopefully they can get the coaching side of things right. We mentioned the Coleman medal in the previous segment, but let's take a full look at the market here. And probably no real surprise to see that Curnow and Darcy are sitting at the top, but it's relatively open. It can be a difficult market to predict. Jeremy Cameron won the award last year, but is $10 and obviously has dealt with an injury over the off-season. Are you sensing any value here, JJ?
Not yet. I mean, I agree with Brownie. I like big Rolly Thilthorpe. What do you reckon the number is this year, Brownie? We saw a high number win it last year, probably an abnormal number, high 80s.
I don't think as many this year. Yeah. I think if you get to 70, I reckon you're going to be very hard to beat. Ben King is the other one at $6. I know that Darcy and Curnow are the favourites at the moment.
Super accurate.
But the thing is, if we think the Gold Coast are going to be good, they play so many games at home, he dishes out. So I think against poor sides this year, see Ben King kicking 6s and 7s. Against good sides, I worry about him getting on the scoreboard, but certainly I'm still with my man, Riley Thilthorpe, as Hoyney says.
Yeah, Darcy hard to topple if he stays on the park for me, but there is one at a real rough price that I don't mind there. Logan Morris, he's only 20 years of age. He kicked 48 goals last year. Got a hell of a lot of talent, and he's going to get plenty of supply. So not the worst $67 shot that I've ever seen, but when this man's on song, he's as good a forward as there is, as good a player as there is in the competition.
Yeah, plays a lot of footy under the roof at Marvel, so gets those opportunities where it might be pouring rain at the MCG, but he gets the perfect conditions of Marvel Stadium. And look, like Phil thought with the highlights we saw of him, can do a little bit of everything. So, if he's not marking it, he can get one on the lead. He's going to get a lot of free kicks.
Talking him up a lot, though. All the talk coming out of the Dogs is they're talking him up too much. I don't think it'll worry him at all, but I'd rather them just let him play. Yeah. Everything coming out of the Dogs is unbeatable at the moment. He's unstoppable.
We think he's going to kick a dozen in a game.
12 in a game. Well, it's 51. I think we had a market last year, 50-plus disposals. That hit for 51 as well, but 12.
That'd be a good fun bet to follow. Obviously, you get an opportunity each and every time he goes and plays.
Are you going to take it?
I might have a little shekel on the feed. Oh. The feed went well last year, so I might have a shekel on. Slamming Sam.
Yeah, I like it. Hoyney, what do you reckon?
I think he's every chance to win the Coleman medal off the back of how good the Dogs are offensively. That wasn't their issue last year. He missed, best part of 2 months last year. So absolutely every chance of taking home this year.
Cameron out last year as well. Don't forget that Aaron Norton wasn't all that far away on the leaderboard. So I think he's around $41 or something. So it is a market where you can shop some value, I reckon, the Coleman. One of the other big markets is obviously the Brownlow medal, and there's been some changes in the last couple of days, Brownie, around what the umpires can do here, and they can look at stats.
There has been. And I'll tell you what, if these new rules were in last year, Matty Rowell does not win the Brownlow medal. So round 4, 17 touches, 3 votes, 16 touches in round 7, 3 votes, 20 in round 9 and 3 votes, and 2 votes in round 17, 15, and did not poll a coach's vote. So that says to me, it goes back to players genuinely who win the football time and time again. Nick Dacos already should be a 2-time Brownlow medal winner. And there is some value there. I like Caleb Serong. I think if they win enough games, he's going to get a lot of the football through the midfield. But I'll be backing Dacos again, and I'll be backing Caleb Serong as well.
I've already got wild Will Ashcroft on the feed. He goes about it in the right way. He's someone who stands out. He kicks more goals than you think as well. I wonder, so some of the stats the umpires have been told to look at, Hoyney, intercept possessions, intercept marks, so they're asking them to identify the defenders, and then also the kickouts. So a player might have 30 disposals. You see that and you think, maybe he's in the best players on the ground, but he's had 12 kick-ins or 8 kick-ins. So interesting from that perspective.
Yeah, it is. And, we talk a lot about back history until history changes. And we mentioned towards the end of last year with the Brownlow medalist, it's now 17 seasons in a row where the Brownlow medalist has been top 6 for contested footy. So, and that was, where a Serong and a Matt Rowell last year really stood out compared to a Nick Dacos and a Jordan Dawson, who are also favourites to win it. So, whether or not that actually changes this year off the back of...
What's your gut feel?
I think it will change off the back of what you said before.
It'll be judged harshly, like Cripps was the year before, getting 45.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think, that will be interesting to watch this year, whether or not those outside runners, and if that actually happens, I know Bailey Smith was there, look for Max Holmes as potentially a left field option for...
Noah Anderson has to get a lot of votes.
Has to this year.
The fact
he was hard done by last year.
He was hard done by last year. So I've got a theory. Like, they're always harder on the Brownlow medals the next year after. Paddy Cripps was judged harshly last year, and I think that Matty Rowell is going to be judged harshly this year. So who gets the votes? The umpires look at the stats and they go, Matty Rowell's had 20, he's had 7 clearances, but Noah Anderson's had 33, and he plays so well at home. I think they win a lot of games, potentially 15. That's 15 chances for him to get votes, and I just like Anderson for the Brownlow at 21.
Not worried about Petrarca coming into that mix as well. He's obviously a proven vote getter.
He can take the 2s. Yep.
There's plenty to go around.
3 beats, 2.
I couldn't talk you out of Dacos. So he's going to post big numbers. He has a big impact on games, and I even think the fact there's been a little discussion around whether or not he gets marked harshly in recent times might actually work in his favour this year. Goulden's another one who's polled extremely well previously, and Serong has polled over 24 votes the last 3 years. So I've got those 2 on the feed as the value.
Dacos, wait on bet after opening round, because I reckon Windhager will be coming for him. And if he sits on him and he holds him to a 0-vote game, we might get $7.50 or $8 going into round 1.
I like the thinking. Very good.
Love the tag.
Watch the taggers.
Yep. I wonder if this man will get tagged at all through 2026. With Tom Green out, Clayton Olive becomes an even more fascinating prospect, Brownie. And one thing that Sportsbet are doing is we're going to follow the storylines in 2026. 2026, and he's obviously one of those. $26 to poll more than 20 votes.
He's a proven vote getter too. Look at that, $26 to get 20 plus. Now, he's going to play midfield mostly this year because he can't play anywhere else. He can't play half-back, he can't play wing, he can't play half-forward. And there's something happens when you change clubs. You want to be as fit as you possibly can because there's a respect element. And I think he's gone up there, he's got himself fit like he was probably 4 years ago. Who knows if his off-field life is cherry ripe at the moment? Who cares? I want him to be out there playing good football. And I think at that price, it's too good to refuse the 20 plus votes at $26. You're looking at me like you don't agree.
Well, so
No,
he
I
got as
totally
many
agree
votes
with
as
that.
we did combined last year. That's the only problem.
Like Tom Green going down, as bad as that is for GWS, I think that's actually a good thing for Clayton Oliver.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're friends here.
Yeah, it is a big price. $26 is hard to talk you out of it. My only little worry with Clary is, are those types of players valued as much as what they were 3 years ago when he was in his prime and obviously Melbourne were playing well? And he was
Everyone loves a
polling all those
comeback
votes.
story, though, I reckon.
Yeah.
And I think they're
Hopefully
going to be
the umpires
looking at
too.
him and the umpires, unless he's mouthed off a fair bit.
Yeah, he looks.
Or
What
he's-
about
He can do.
Or he's seen an
All-Australian
umpire out
Matty?
and about.
I reckon he might be someone who gets on the lip on the field somewhere. All-Australian, Matty, you've got some value for us, talking about a big key forward who's a new captain as well.
Yeah, previous All-Australian as well. I'm using the theory that North Melbourne surely can't be this bad once again. So they've got to show some signs of improvement here. I'm a little bit worried having watched them a week ago against the
Been a
D's.
solid theory for a long time.
Yeah, surely it's got to come good. And if it does, if they can just improve that 20%, Nick Larkey's a previous All-Australian when they finished 17th on the ladder. He's going to be a big part of their revival. He obviously converts really well in front of goal as well. At $7 now, in from $8 when I put it up on the feed, if they improve, I think he's a chance.
I think you've started well, Matty, but I couldn't disagree anymore with you.
There's a bet coming.
I just think the way in which North Melbourne move the footy and how hard it is for him, and he's on our rating system never been a top 100 rated player in the competition, and who he's coming up against as other key forwards in the comp this year, I would be pleasantly surprised if he was an All-Australian.
Does that take into account lack of supply as well?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
He doesn't-
So it takes into it. He doesn't really do too much other than
Yes.
the mark and goal component. So, sort of being able to get involved and rack up disposals like some other key forwards can. That's probably an area of his game that he can improve on.
I don't mind Christian Petrarca. We've spoken about him a little bit. So I'm interested in what his role looks like. I'm smelling the Dustin Martin role with Damien Hardwick, who invented the role for Dusty. So Petrarca, at age 30, it feels like he's 33, 34. He's still got good footy ahead of him. If he can play forward side of a stoppage, Brownie, and then get hard forward, he's going to get scoring opportunities. If he can convert, that might be the difference.
Yeah, he's not a great kick, is he?
No.
He's a wonderful player, but if he can kick 30, 35 goals, I mean, all
And get
Australia
him
is
to get
back
to
in
a
again.
half-forward flank or a forward pocket.
A man who can kick goals and kicks them on the run, he kicks them for fun. He's Ed Richards. And when you've got Liberatore, like I said, Bontempelli giving you the ball, this is what he's done in his last 5 years.
Yeah.
And 24 was a good year for him because he really announced himself. 25 was huge, averaging 25.8. I just think he goes to another level. I think once you're in the system for 4 5 years, that 6 to 7 to 8 year, 9 year period, this is his golden era. And I think Ed Richards is going to take the number one mantle at the Western Bulldogs away from Bontempelli, away from Liberatore, and I'm going to follow him. I'm going to back him for All-Australian.
I like it.
Yeah, he's a genuine star of the competition. I wouldn't talk you out of either of those bets, Petrarca or Richards. And you've been big on the Anderson bandwagon as well, Brownie. You're backing
He'll
him
make
in a
it.
couple of markets.
Well, if he's going to win the Brownlow for me, he has to be All-Australian as
Yes.
well. So at $2.25, I think he was $3 at the start of the year, so he's definitely come in. They've found him. Missing the first couple of weeks is his good mate, but 26 for the Brownlow.
I think we've got to go back to, this is probably your areas, Matt Prittis would be the last Brownlow medalist to not make All-Australian, I think, from memory, but you'd be stiff. If you get him up for Brownlow, you'd be stiff to miss out on the All-Australian, fair dinkum.
Yeah, absolutely. The rucks have been dominated by Max Gawn in recent years.
8 times.
Yeah, so he's pretty much owned this market. I can't believe Sportsbet put up $8 last year for him. It might be time for some change there. And Luke Jackson, well, he was the heir apparent when they played together at Melbourne, and he looks a potential chance of taking over as the premier ruckman in the competition.
And the rules are going to play a part here. So the leaping ruckman, certainly in the pre-season, look like they're going to be in vogue. Jackson's role, I mean, how can you pick him in the ruck, Brownie, if he only plays 30% in the ruck?
He can get a bench spot as well.
That's the important part, 5 on the bench as well. So going to be fascinating to follow a lot of these ruckmen.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he can kick goals as well. So he could make the ruck spot, but he's not a ruckman. He could make the bench spot, but he's not a ruckman either.
Doesn't matter, just get him in
it doesn't matter.
there.
You just get him in there, and the price at $6, I think he's, like Ed Richards, just about to explode as well.
He's the best ruckman in the competition.
Really?
Oh.
Has more impact on
He's not
best-
even a ruckman.
The best ruck. So
Better than
I
Gorn.
know they have Sean Darcy there and they've got to manage the minutes. If he played 75% of his game time this year as a ruckman, get all over that All-Australian odds because he is the most dynamic and impactful ruck
I like it when you
he
back me
plays
up.
there.
I like it when you
in the
back me up.
competition.
Yeah.
Told you, we're friends. I've missed you over the off-season.
Cool. Is he physically able? I guess that's the question. Because he's not huge. That's maybe the question on him.
Yeah.
He's about 198. He's not 205, 206. He gives away a bit of size and weight, but I like that from Hoyney.
Yeah, I like it too. All right, leave us best futures bet right now. One bet, JJ.
Richmond over 4.5 wins.
All right.
Noah Anderson, Brownlow medal.
Oh,
Riley Thilthorpe, 55 goals plus. Health is the only thing that stops us from
Health
getting
is
that one
wealth.
over the line. Make sure you follow us on the Sportsbet feed as well. You can check out all of those futures bets and week to week with our games with same game multis and our best bets. It's been a lot of fun here on In the Back Pocket. Hope you can join us for our next show.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.